Welcome back, everyone, to Planescape Torment. Apparently, you can't save inside the Smoldering Corpse bar. Whatever. What's up, Kandrian? You see a soft-looking man with gentle, far-staring eyes. He dresses in supple leather clothing and carries various implements of use and destruction about his body, such as ropes, spikes, tinderboxes, and empty vials of air. He looks half gone, literally. There's an instant insubstantiality to his existence, as if his essence had been partially leached away. He focuses those eyes on you, and suddenly you find them gripping and determined. Greetings to you, O Seeker. Greetings. He carefully sets down the mug he's holding and gives you all his attention. I have seen the far reaches of the multiverse and returned to tell the tale. I have walked upon the bodies of dead gods and spun moonbeams in the astral ahead of 1,000 shrieking Githyanki nights. I have passed the edges of existence and watched my essence shiver away before me. What is it that I can do for you? I had some questions. Perhaps I have answers for you. Speak, and I shall tell you. Who are you? I am Kandrian Illborn, traveler, dreamer, tailspinner, and so forth. You're a traveler? Tell me about the plains. I'm tired, Seeker. So tired. I am fresh back from negation. I will answer what I can for you, but I cannot promise that you will find satisfaction in the answers I give. What would you know? Would you hear the outer planes, prime material, or inner planes? What's the difference? Dear Lord, okay. The difference is true essence, Seeker. The inner planes are matter, substance, true physicality. They are the building blocks of the multiverse, for it is from them that all belief in this element springs. The inner planes filter through the ethereal plane, the plane of potential, some say, which forms the elements into the worlds of mortals. Once past the ethereal plane, one reaches the prime material, where exists all manner of mortals and monsters and myths and machines. It is there that belief is born, and there that the spirits that create the outer planes are born. When mortals die, they pass through the astral plane, a no place that is thought and mental energy itself. It is in all things, and in none of them. It is paradox, among other things, and it filters spirits into the great ring. Do you comprehend so far? Yes. Go on. Now the outer planes, where should I start? Do you know the cardinal rules of the planes, on which all others are based? Do you know about the composition of the outer planes? Do you know of the great ring and its divisions in our hearts? Do you know of the individual planes? Each of these leads to the next, and so it is best to start from the beginning. Holy shit. Tell me about the composition of the planes. The outer planes are created of and by belief and thought and faith. They take their imagined form from the prime material plane, shaped into forms that stagger the imagination, built by the accumulation of belief. Belief creates the planes. Belief is power here. Change belief, and you can change the nature of reality. The creatures that are born here, plane-born, like fiends and celestials, are truly born of the thoughts and concepts of mortals. They each express some sort of ideal, and the more powerful that ideal, the more powerful the being. Thus, the being that symbolizes love is one of the strongest of all. Go on. That's why the powers, gods some call them, live out here. This is where all the faith in them comes. This is where they are at their most pure and most strong. Their realms are extensions of their very beings, manifestations of their godly essence, all of it informed by belief. So the compositions of the planes is belief. Tell me about the Great Ring. Among the loose unity of planewalkers, we conceive of the infinite outer planes as a ring surrounding the plane of ultimate neutrality, the Outlands. The spire atop which Sigil sits is in the center of the Outlands. The further one travels away from the spire, the less neutral the planes grow, until it spills into the neighboring planes. Each of these planes impinges on the Outlands, spinning themselves into law and chaos, good and evil. The Great Road marks the demarcation between the Outlands and the gate towns that spring up around the gates to these planes. Beyond the gate towns lie the hinterlands, uncharted territory that is lost to history, that loses thought. Danger lies in the hinterlands. Go on. The outer planes differ by morality, not substance. For you, we'll divide the planes into 3 sets. The upper planes of good, the lower planes of evil, and the boundary planes of neutrality. These are then divided further by law and chaos. The Outlands in its middle. Which of these interest you? Tell me about the upper planes. Of the upper planes, there are the neutral planes, the lawful planes, and the chaotic planes. Which would you know? Neutral planes. The neutral upper planes contain the Beastlands, a place of neutrality and goodness, with a slight tinge of chaos, where the animals rule in the eternal noon and night. They hold Bitopia, twin paradise of industry and labor, where all work toward the good of all, and Elysium, the sweetest plane of goodness and calm I have ever come across. Alas, right now I am not well enough to enjoy one of their restorative effects. What would you hear of now? The upper planes. Of the upper planes, there are the neutral, lawful, and chaotic. Lawful. Kandrian gives a small shudder. I am not the best person to speak of the planes of law, for the innate structure and ultimate patterns they impose frighten me. I steer clear of them because I value my individuality more than I value the knowledge they will bring me. They include the regimented Arcadia, nearest of the good planes to the unbending order of Mechanus, and Mount Celestia, home of the Archons, an island in the Silver Sea. And tell me about the chaotic planes. These are where I feel most at home. Though I steer clear of Isgard for the most part, the endless battles and tests of metal among the floating earthbergs of plains don't do the much for my disposition. Arborea, though, he sighs. The mountains are taller, the air clearer, and the rivers purer, and the game larger than anywhere else. It is a true paradise, a place where passions run high and the wine never ceases to flow. When I have recovered enough of my wits and myself, when we are done with the outer plains, you should ask me of the inner, and I will describe my journey to you. I will return to Arborea's bowers and glades and lose myself for quite some time. Tell me about the upper plains. Tell me more about the plains in general. Plains in the Great Ring. Tell me about the lower plains. Like the upper plains, the lower plains are divided. Which of them do you care to hear of? Neutral plains. The neutral plains? They're vile and barely understandable. They're more insidious on their own than you could ever imagine. Take Gehenna, for example. 4 volcanoes in staged dormancy floating in an infinite void, each of them somehow alive, and each of them wanting your soul by whatever means they can get it. Populated with Yugoloths, the worst of the fiends in my opinion, and you've got the place. The plane of ultimate evil, at least that's what they call it, is the Grey Waste. A no place that drains color from your body and spirit, stealing away even your apathy, and it's the site of the worst battleground in the war down there. Don't get me started. Then you've got the Carcerai on the chaotic side. The war. Aye, the blood war. At the name, your blood feels as if it freezes in your veins. Ilborn doesn't seem to notice, wrapped up as he is in his memories. 2 armies of fiends, smashing together pointlessly across the lower plains, slaughtering mindlessly in the name of law and chaos. They'll aggrandize it, of course, but in the end it's about hate and stupid endeavor that aids none and harms far too many. Tell me about the rest of the lower planes. Lawful planes. As much as I detest the order of the lawful upper planes, at least they present a modicum of goodness. Their lower planar counterparts, though, Acheron's a place of ricocheting cubes that never see an end of battle, swarming with the souls of dead humanoids. Betor is a place best avoided. Those Betezu, the fiends in the corner there, are but the merest expression of the deviant corruption embodied in the soulless machine of the order. If you want more, talk to them, but remember, all that is bad about bureaucracy and order originates from Betor, and it spreads like a stain across the hearts of men. Though there is some knowledge to be found there, it is really worth the spiritual rape the plane inflicts. Tell me about the chaotic planes. The Abyss isn't some place you should consider going. Where Betor is all orderly, the Abyss is full of chaos and change, and none of it is pleasant. When it becomes something that approximates its normality, that's when you should be the most wary of it. It is home to the Tanari, what most primes call demons, and they've got that name for a reason. They are unpredictable and murderous, and the few you can trust are few and far between. The few I have met who I'd trust, I still don't trust entirely. They are creatures of chaos and evil incarnate. If they're putting it on a friendly face, who's to say it's not part of a larger agenda? Back to the Great Ring. Boundary planes. There are 2 boundary planes to my mind, and they are diametrically opposed. One of them is Mechanus, is the very essence of law, a place where belief fits together, interlocking, turning in a massive machine that is the entire plane. Some folks have it that the gears of Mechanus are the engines that drive the planes. The other is Limbo, a swirling morass of chaos that follows no rules, none, and just when a body thinks he's classified his behavior and goes and changes on him, or it doesn't. You just can't tell. I was in Limbo not too long ago. Tell me of your journey. I had a Gethzerai guide with me, an anarch who could shape the illogical matter of the plane into forms of his desire. We had fought off the harrying of the Sladai, the chaos creatures who call that plane home. It seemed there were more than usual, but then one can never tell what's usual in Limbo, but I digress. In the midst of all this chaos, we came across a series of huge metal interlocking cubes, like some sort of puzzle box. It wasn't something we had shaped, consciously or not. and we couldn't find a way inside. It was like a bastion of order within the confines of disorder. A seed of law, the best way I can explain it. Huh.
Updated my journal.
I had some other questions. What are you doing? I am fresh back from negation, trying to restore my essence before it slips away from me altogether. Negation, what do you mean? I went to the inner planes to discover my true essence. I made the mistake of visiting the negative material plane in order to understand my body's urge to decay and the cycle of death in life. I thought myself protected against the ill effects of the plane with my magic, but I was wrong. The blackness of infinite nothingness pressed on my soul, and I was beset by shadows that sought to snuff out my very soul. I lost my way for a time, for an eternity, and nearly lost my existence. I could feel my essence falling away from me, and I am even now half gone. Never will I fully return. How did you survive?
Updated my journal.
How did I survive? With a piece of nothing that held back the nothing. Nothing can stop nothing, you know, and so I carried nothing in my hand to protect me. Do you plan to journey to the ultimate negation yourself? You have the smell of desperation about you, so I make you this gift. Hold it in your hand when the shadows press in, and it should protect you and your friends somewhat, should they remain close to you. He passes you a small black token that looks as if it has no dimensionality to it at all. Thanks. Tell me more about the plane. I think we're done here. Farewell. The negative token. This is a negative token, a flat black disc that appears to have no substance to it at all. Turning it over reveals that it has no third dimension. There's no thickness to this item at all. It gives you some command over creatures of shadow. You can command them to stand still for a few precious seconds. The more powerful the shadow, the less likely it will be obey the command. As an added benefit, as long as this token is carried by any of your party members, it acts as a ward against shadows. It will not prevent shadows from attacking your group, but the shadows will find it more difficult to harm you while the token is carried. Interesting. Well, I guess I'll take the negative token then. I see no reason why not. Oh, right, those are cleaning rags and those are rags. Don't get them twisted. Don't get it confused. Elias? You see a trim, muscular man dressed in clothing that is comparatively drab and mundane compared to most of the outfits you've seen in this city. He carries himself with an air of supercilious arrogance. He also looks dramatically out of place here. What do you want? He asks. Who are you? I'm Elias, warrior of renown. Surely you've heard of me. No. Can it truly be that none in this town have heard of me or my exploits? Alas, I shall have to prove myself all over again, and here I thought my fame had spread across the world. What world are you from? I come from the city of Aliburn on the River Time. Surely you've heard of its glories and wonders. No matter. This place is benighted and ignorant when it comes to the splendors of true cities. I am told that my land is what is called a prime by the denizens of this city, though a prime of what, I don't know. How did you get here? I was chasing my old foe, the villainous life shade Tier 10LL. He pauses, waiting for acknowledgement, and then continues. He conjured his demonic magic and opened himself a doorway and held himself through it. Before he could flee me entirely, I threw myself after him and found myself here. That sounds like... I get it now. You're clueless. He bristles, reddening, and his hand clutches it convulsively around the hilt of his sword. Clueless, is it? I take offense to your words, Sarah, and I bid you farewell in the hopes that we should never cross paths again. I just wanted to ask you some questions. Then be on it with Scarred One. Ask and be done with it. I'd like to apologize. You wish to apologize? That's what I said. Then, I suppose as a point of honor, I must accept your apology. Very well. In return, I offer my apology as well. Let us set the matter aside and speak no more of it. Who are the patrons of this tavern? I have only met the elderly Ebb Creekneys, who has been instructing me on my ways of the city and plains. My foe's spell must have catapulted us far across the world, for I know of no plains near our former location. No. Plains, as in planes of existence. There are planes of the imagination, of thought and belief. They are not physical prairies or grasslands, but other dimensions. I understand. What the old man said is starting to make sense. Excuse me, I need to think about this. Farewell. Barkus. You see a leather-skinned man with just a hint of ashen color in his face. His teeth seem sharper than normal, and his eyes are filled with the boredom that comes with having seen too much. His voice is nasal and clipped. You again, eh? What do you want this time? You again? What do you mean? Yeah, you again. You got a hearing problem or something now? You was in here about 15 years ago, got all bubbed up and smashed the place and left a pile of coin that wasn't enough to pay for the damages. So you plucked out your bleeding eyeball and tells me you'll come back to reclaim it when you got 200 coins together. With 15 years interest, you got about 500 coins. You got the drink, pal? I got your eye. 500? That's ridiculous. That is, tell you what. Give me 300 and the eye's yours. It's a deal. It's a deal? It's a deal. He produces a darkened, wax-stoppered, wide-mouthed bottle from his pocket. You hear the sound of liquid sloshing around inside, and along with the heavier, squishier noise, opening it and the stench of some sort of preservative agent nearly makes you gag. Floating in the viscid muck is an eyeball. You'd better figure out what you want to do with that now that you've exposed it to the air. You might as well put a pickled egg in a jar. For all the good it'll do you. Make up your mind, Cutter. Pickled egg or not. Tear out your eyeball and place this one in the socket. You dig in your eye socket. The pain is very intense. Incredible. You're suddenly overwhelmed by it. You fall to the ground, bleeding from your freshly opened socket. You have died.
Ooh, looks like death's come for the bill. Ooh, thought we lost you for good this time, Chief.
Hold on. I missed out on something big. I hate to reload, but I have to. Son of a bitch. Okay, hold on. I'll be back. I need to redo this. 'Cause the memories you get from that eyeball are really fucking big. I assume I missed out on them because my HP is so low. So let me just use these a bit to get my HP higher. It might be a Constitution check. If that's the case, then I will fail no matter. You know what? Let's just skip to the eyeball thing, and see if I can do that. And I'll talk to the other guys off screen real quick. You again, what do you mean? 500, that's ridiculous. It's a deal. There we go. With a moment's hesitation, you reach into your socket and pop your eye into the palm of your hand. The bartender helpfully severs the optic nerve and directs your hand to the jar of goo that sits on the bar. You deposit your eye in the preservative, wrap your fingers around the old one, and slide it into your empty socket. The pain of this entire operation is incredible. After a moment, though, you can feel the optic nerve reattaching itself to this new eye, and suddenly, you're hit by a flash of memory. Absorb it. Memory flash. A vast expanse of chaotic, ever-changing wasteland stretching before you. A group of humanoid vultures plummeting towards you. Cruel weapons ready to strike, and your own shining blade clutched tight in your fist. Memory flash. 3 toughs surround you, in the colors of an enemy you can't quite place. Long daggers glisten in their hands, and the light glints cruelly from their exposed teeth. You glance at your scarred hands, and you know that soon they'll be covered in blood. Memory flash. An enormous frog-like creature comes bounding over through under chaos stuff, headed for you with a mouthful of teeth. You hurl your javelin through the shifting matter and pin the creature to a sudden stone plinth. You have recalled some of your lost fighting skills. Proficiency points increased permanently. Hurry it up, will you? I got paying customers here. What can you tell me about the patrons? I don't make it a point to interfere with the lives of the people who give me their hard-earned jink unless they ask me to. So, over there is Kandrian, Planewalker, he's a good one, to talk about any planewalking questions you might have. It's been pretty much everywhere. Down there is Ebb Creeknees, an old harmonium basher. Don't hold that against him, and a tout. He's got a good heart in him, and he knows sigil up and down. Them fiends over there are Aethelgrin and Tegadin. Word of advice, don't deal with them. They might be low rankers in the fiend hierarchy, but they're still fiends. Then you got Ilquicks over there, not trustworthy, and some mercy killers looking for some poor sod. Dakon, the Gazera, is a mystery to me. Don't know much about him. You don't talk much. Finally, you interested in earning some free bub? Yes. There's a blubber over against the far wall, hanging about in the shadows, who's been trying to work up her courage to slip out without covering her tab. I want to make sure that she don't do that. You do it, you got free bub here for life. I'll do it. I'll let you know when I'm done. Alrighty then, problem solved. Oh, yep, that deals quite a bit of damage. So when my fighting skills improved, I'm pretty sure I only had 3 proficiency slots available. So I think this gave me another proficiency slot. I don't think it gave me any XP. Anyway, sick. Sounds good.